Okay, people, I was lucky enough to go hands-on with Mario Kart World at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience in New York City. I have about 20 minutes of gameplay, including some regular Grand Prix races, a quick look at the Knockout Tour, and a very brief glimpse of the free roam mode. I also got to play the game both docked and in handheld, so we are going to talk about everything I experienced with Mario Kart World. Of course, if you are new here and you enjoy Mario Kart content, but also Nintendo Switch 2 coverage, I would very much appreciate you subscribing. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are just going to go over this in real time, all of the footage I have, starting with just some Grand Prix races. I apologize in advance for any moments where my arm blocks the screen a little bit, or if it's a little wobbly. The Nintendo representatives here are really strict about, like, you have to have a body part in the frame for some reason. But here we have the character select screen. I'm curious to see how this changes in the full release. I really hope that all of the different costumes don't end up being separate slots, because we'll see how that goes. But as you can see, there's like 7 or 8 pages here, and it's already just like kind of a, just crapshoot of like, okay, where's Donkey Kong? Where's Yoshi? Trying to figure out where the character you want to play as is. I picked Cow. I had to pick Cow. My friend Dan picked the Toad with the burger hat here. I think I try out one of these standard carts first. I do try out a bike later, and this is just a regular Grand Prix race, so we have four tracks to go through here. Shout out to the Carpet Flyer cart. I think Wario was shown driving this in the free roam mode in the trailer. But yeah, so throughout this demo, I got to do Grand Prix on the TV in docked mode. I got to do some handheld races, as well as try out the Knockout Tour. I say I got to try a little bit of the free roam mode. Technically true, because in the Knockout Tour mode, when you're in like the lobby waiting, you basically just have access to the free roam mode, which is kind of interesting. But here we have our first look at some split screen gameplay on the Wario Stadium track. I would need to go back and look at how Wario Stadium looked on, it's from N64, right? Mario Kart 64. Very much a remake, but also they are changing a lot of stuff up here. Visually, this game is very, very pretty. One of the best looking Nintendo games so far. I'm going to do a whole separate video on Prime 4, which I do think is the prettiest Nintendo game, but it's a little surreal seeing a Nintendo game in 4K running at 60. Here I grabbed a food item, and I was really curious to see, like, okay, what does this mean for the enemy characters, or for the smaller characters that you wouldn't really expect to have skins? Unfortunately, the cow does not get another skin when you eat the food. I think it gives you a small speed boost. I'm not really sure about that. The food bags are weird, because I love all the costumes we're getting here. It's so cool that there's so many customization options, but also having the bags and having you change your skins mid-race feels a little weird. Also, shout out, when you get hit in this game, it is very much like a double dash. I don't think mashing to get back up works, but it is physics-based, so like you're kind of like rolling forward depending on how you get hit, or rolling to the side, that kind of thing. Here's the coin block item. When you get hit, you lose that immediately, so watch out for that. Something else I was trying to learn, I was asking the Nintendo employee there, he wasn't really answering, is what does doing multiple tricks actually do? I'm guessing it gives you a little bit more of a speed boost, but it seems very, very minuscule. But when doing time trials or in competitive, that will make a difference. Here's the hammer item, which is really cool. I completely missed the sides here where you can get onto the rails. That's something I noticed. It's worth saying here too, this demo is 100cc with the like smart autopilot steering on, so it feels a little weird. It might look a little bit slow, but the rails, that's what I wanted to talk about next. So in the trailer, you can see that you can go on all these rails and do some crazy tricks off of them. They're a little weird to get on, and maybe it's because of the auto steering that you have in this game, but it was like kind of forcing me away from it, because it's technically a shortcut, I guess, depending on where it is. Here's the one section of the track that actually looks like Wario Stadium. The remakes in this game feel a little weird, but here you can definitely tell it is actually Wario Stadium. My friend Dan in second place with the Burger Toad. I was lagging behind a little bit here. You can see that player to the right of me went up to the rails over there. It's just weird. It's definitely going to be an adjustment, thinking, oh, I can go on like the sides of the walls and stuff. I don't think I ever got a moment in this demo where I was literally riding on the walls, like you saw Mario jumping left and right between walls at one point. I don't think that ever happens. Here's the Ice Flower, which is a new addition that kind of slows you down for a little bit here. And I'm doing pretty good right now. Dan's in first, I'm in second, but as we come up on this epic grand finale ramp here to the finish line, I get Mario Karted. I got from second all the way down to fourth. Oh wait, and here's a red shell, gonna get hit again mid-air. Yeah, didn't stick the landing too well. Kind of just spamming items here, like please let me catch up. But yeah, this is a really cool track. I think some people are upset about how gutted it feels compared to the original version, but it visually, at the very least, visually, very, very pleasing. There's Charging Chuck in front of me. This game is beautiful. It's funny because in the reveal trailer for the Switch 2, we were all like, oh, this is gonna be a, you know, not that big of an upgrade for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It is. Trust me, this game looks fantastic compared to that game. And that game already looked amazing. But Mario Kart World is definitely like this. This feels like a next-gen upgrade from Mario Kart 8 visually. It's a really, really beautiful game. Next up, we switched over to handheld mode, still racing against each other in a standard Grand Prix race. First impression of the screen, man, I know this isn't necessarily about Mario Kart World, but the screen on the Switch 2 is so much better than I expected because we heard, oh, it's not an OLED display, but it is an LCD display, significantly higher quality than the Switch was back in 2017. It has HDR. It is a 120 hertz screen. Don't mind my sweaty hands on the back of that poor Switch 2. But for this race, I picked the dapper Boo with the mustache and the monocle. Very cool. We're going to Choco Mountain. You have this new rolling start feature where you go into a race already, you know, going. There's the little beetle dude next to me. Same boost as in Mario Kart 8. You start holding down right after the 2 pops up there and you'll get your boost. There's the conch door next to me, dude. Yeah, very cool. And just playing in handheld mode felt really nice. I mean, once again, not to keep repeating myself, but the screen on the Switch 2, as an OLED boy, you know, I have an OLED TV. I play on the Switch OLED. I love an OLED display. I need to see them side by side. I need to, you know, have both in the house, just kind of looking at them. The screen it's close, you know, it's not like a huge downgrade in my opinion. If anything, it's about equal to that of the Switch OLED. There I got the food item and I got rid of my Dapper Boo costume. Very unfortunate. That was a little sad. Something you might notice in this game is that you no longer have a limit of 10 coins. It actually goes up to 20 coins, which is funny because I know a lot of people, myself included, kind of was hoping that coins would be gone. I don't love having coins. I get that it gives you something to do, and especially with this being an open world game, it kind of makes more sense to have like some currency and all that. But man, having a bigger focus on coins, I don't think is what anybody wanted out of this game. We'll have to see how it plays. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but just a little weird, a little unexpected. Here I am falling into this pile of goop because I don't know how to play video games. Apparently, you can get the boost from Lakitu here, Lakitu. So keep that in mind as I keep adjusting the camera on this Switch display. But yeah, something I mentioned in my overall Switch 2 experience kind of preview I posted earlier today is that I was surprised by how similar this game actually does feel to Mario Kart 8. It's more Mario Kart, which is not a bad thing, but based on everything we had seen, I was expecting it to like actually like feel significantly different. And I say in that video, I think it's just hard for me to tell because it is 100cc and I do have that stupid smart steering thing on. It's really hard to get a proper feel for how this game is going to play, but it really does feel like Mario Kart 8. Also, shout out to that Kaboom comic book effect that pops up when someone gets hit by a blue shell. I really, really enjoy that. But yeah, it's if you're a big Mario Kart 8 player, it's going to feel right at home. It doesn't necessarily feel like the jump from, let's say, Double Dash to Wii or Wii to 7. It feels more in line with 8. 8 Deluxe, 7 even, which feels very similar to that game. The track design is interesting because there are moments, especially when you are in like the transitions between tracks, when you're doing multiple races in Knockout Tour, which we'll get to in just a second, there are moments where the tracks feel a little too wide, but then there are also moments like you just saw here on Choco Mountain where the course actually got like really narrow, and considering there's 24 players, it's just a little surprising, I gotta be honest. But I did like this track. I would say that I like this one more than Wario Stadium. Shout out to the Boo, even though he didn't get to keep his dapper outfits here. And yeah, second place only behind Yoshi this time around. And here's a look at that congratulations screen with the trophy, all the players in there. I completely missed that the Conch was playable in the reveal trailer. What a cool character to have playable in this game. And then one more race here before we tried out the Knockout Tour. Dan picked the Koopa Troopa with the sunglasses on. I picked Peach. We both tried out bikes for this one. And we're racing on the Boo Cinema course. Very cool track. So it kind of starts out, you see like all the different like lightings and everything, but then as it goes on, you eventually get into a Haunted Mansion style racetrack, which is really cool. It's like I guess it's a Boo themed movie set, which is just an interesting take for a Mario Kart track. You can see that Dapper Boo there again. You can also see that Cataquack there on the left side of the screen. I love the character roster in this game, man. I know everybody wants Mario RPG characters. I personally want my boy Mallow in there, or even Egad, please. I hope maybe in the Mario Kart Direct we see some of that. But what an interesting direction to go. It's, oh, you can play as a Sidestepper. Unfortunately, Sidestepper not in my demo. I would have played as Sidestepper, the little crab dude. Unfortunately, could not do that. But yeah, I mean, I love what they're doing with the character roster here. It's just so unexpected, and I'm curious to see, like, what will the big reveal of the Mario Kart World Direct be? I think there is something serious they're hiding from us about this game. We haven't seen any sign of battle mode. So far, the free roam mode looks a little empty, I would say. And just in that, there's not like a clear, like, okay, these are your missions you're doing. There are some like achievement type things where it's like, oh, drive so many kilometers, but we don't really know what you're doing in the free roam mode other than look for characters and take photos. So I imagine there is some real gameplay differences there in terms of like objectives and stuff, which will be exciting to see. And then also, like I said, I mean, battle mode is something we haven't had any hints at really, and you just know there's going to be a big ol' battle mode, maybe even a battle royale, and that. So here we have us as we get further and further into the haunted area of the Boo Cinema course. I'm just getting absolutely obliterated by every item known to man, apparently here. And just up ahead, you can see some haunted peepas floating around. I think they're called peepas, right? These goofy looking ghosts. I think what happened is they had all the models for all these characters and like course elements, and they were just like, well, let's just make it playable. Who cares if a Goomba doesn't have arms? Let's just have basically every 3D model of an enemy or a character. Let's just make them playable in this game. But here's what I'm talking about. Here's a section where the road is like extremely wide to account for, I suppose, the 24 players. But then you have sections like on Choco Mountain where it's very not wide. You can see there, I tried to go off. I thought maybe that was a rail I could go on. I'm still hunting for a rail at this point to grind on. They seem a little bit sparse. I mean, it really just depends on the track. But yeah. This section here definitely reminds me of the, is it Twisted Mansion in Mario Kart 8, where the carpet like goes up and down? Not doing that here, but just like the vibes of this section of the map was reminding me of that. There's a little, oh, look at the projector countdown where you come through it. Very cool. I guess you break through it kind of. And now you're in the movie. If you look in the background, you can kind of see like the little effects of it and everything there. You got some more boos popping up in the background. Very cool track, very visually distinct, I would say. I guess beyond it just being like another haunted mansion track, but still really, really big fan of this one. Here we are exiting the projector section with the airplane mode. I'm a little sad that like underwater's gone, but I'm very happy gliding is gone. Here's a rail that I miss, as you can see. So like, even when there are rails very clearly there, like it's actually a little bit harder to get on them than I thought it would be. But yeah, I'm definitely glad that gliders are gone, because having your cart turn into an airplane is just such a cool little thing here. But let's go ahead and try out some of this knockout tour mode. Okay, so for this one, we are playing once again on the TV and dock mode. However, I did have the Switch 2 Pro controller for this section. Really love it. It feels very similar to the Switch 1 Pro controller. If you're already familiar with that, you will be right at home here. Now, I said I got a little glimpse of the free roam mode, and that is because of this lobby waiting room for the knockout challenge, or knockout mode, where it's basically Fall Guys, where you have to place within a certain amount. You can send messages to the other players in the lobby, and just kind of go crazy, running around, doing different things. There are some different like little NPCs running around that you can mess around with, including like Yoshi's. There was a camel I found. My friend Abram said he found like a peach coin or something. I'm not sure what that's about. I did see a magic star or a superstar floating around at one point, which is interesting. It's just a small glimpse of how free roam will actually work in this game. I'm just curious to see what are we really going to be doing when we are doing the open world Mario Kart World section? I'm just so curious what that's going to look like and what kind of objectives they'll have. But I will say, having this as a lobby pre doing the knockout races is really cool. It's just a nice way to like kind of, you know, get ready for the race, kind of mess around. And I imagine there'll be photo mode in this maybe when you're actually playing it in the full version of the game. I was the lobby leader, so I was the one that had to start it. Once again, 100cc. Not a big fan of that, but I get it. It's a demo event for people that maybe aren't hardcore Mario Kart players like we are. Here we are just kind of looking through all of the different rallies that they have. So basically Knockout Tour, this is like the big new mode they're promoting for now. You have 6 sections or 6 single laps taken from a bunch of different Mario Kart World courses. I noticed immediately this is very much like the Yoshi story screen with all the different fruits. Basically, it just randomly selects a bunch of tracks from this. It's like a roulette in Mario Kart World to select what races and what tracks will actually be put into the Knockout Tour rally. Basically, every player will pick an individual cup, and then you will get that rally depending on what it lands on. I'm assuming this is how it will actually work online when you're playing. But yeah, we ended up getting the ice rally, and shout out to my friend Dan, Godspeed. He was out, I think, in the first section. So once again, it is 6 sections. If you've played Fall Guys, it is very similar in that it'll pop up on the bottom right here. To get to the next section, you have to be in the top 20. So basically, the bottom 4 players will be eliminated. They'll be out of the rankings. They will be out of the race, and then it kind of progressively gets more and more intense. This is the mode I am most excited for, at least from what we've seen so far, because it's always going to be different. It's always going to be evolving and like more intense as you get progressively further and further into the track, like a Fall Guys, where when you're down to the last 5 people and you're doing that last section of the race or the last section of the obstacle course in that game, it just gets so intense and so serious. Here's a section from DK Pass. I want to say you can do tricks off of the little half pipe here, even though they don't have like the boost things anymore to illustrate that. You can still do tricks off of them. I picked Pauline in a big old monster truck for this one. I do get a couple mega mushrooms, so if you want to see a big old Pauline, that will be in this gameplay. If you want to see Mega Pauline, there's a bunch of cows playing in front of me. It looks like a lot of people were gravitating towards that character. I think another reason I'm so excited for this mode in particular is that it's really long, assuming you don't get knocked out in the beginning sections of the race. It can last up to like 15 minutes because you are doing 15 tracks essentially. And in this case for DK Pass, I'm pretty sure this has been transformed into a, one-way course. You're not doing laps on this one, as you can see from the mini map. So it can go for a while, which, if you get knocked out early, that's definitely unfortunate. Sorry, Dan, I got to keep rubbing it in here. But for me, like, I want to be in that lobby as long as possible. Also, there's a first look at me doing a trick on a pipe, finally. Wasn't very useful. And here you can do some crazy tricks in midair, get as much of a boost as possible, I guess. Once again, I'm not really sure what doing multiple tricks actually does. I was sweating a little bit here because I'm pretty far back in the pack. You had to be 16th or better for this one. And once again, here you can see just how wide some of the sections are. There was that section to the left. I decided to go right, and I think I end up completely missing this. I was like, oh, let me drift into it. Oh, okay, thank you, smart steering. The smart steering actually saved me. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I land on top of the ski lifts, and I'm just going back and right, left and right, jumping between them. Fell off of that. It looks like it goes a lot further down the mountain than I got to ride it. I assume that would probably be faster, I guess. And if it's not faster, well, at least it looks cool, Tons of item boxes. So weird seeing so many players at once. I mean, where there's literally, I guess, 20 players here right now. There's some shy guys doing their thing. And yeah, here I was really getting worried. I'm like, oh God, I'm in 15th. I need to be 16th or better. Here I am in 16th now. And there's a wiggler in front of me. I was like, oh no, I need to step up my game. And then I got the Mega Mushroom, and I mean, she takes up almost the entire road when she's big, which is so funny. I know the Mega Mushroom, not like the most popular item from Mario Kart Wii, but still, I'm happy they brought it back. That's a fun one to bring back, especially with a lot of the courses being a little bit wider here. That Mega Mushroom and then Bullet Bill combo really put me back into the lead here, almost in first. Yeah, there's my crown, but then I got lightninged, so that's cool. And then the Mega Yoshi destroyed me using the same carts, which is pretty funny. And then when you get close to the checkpoint, there's like this cool like rainbow road effect around your screen. Very pretty. But I managed to clutch it. I managed to get in here, and then it kind of just keeps going on and to the next section of the track. Still in a snowy area here. I got a lot of freaking golden mushrooms, I realized, during this race. There's a Spike in the back of that truck throwing his balls at you. Very cool. I'm excited to see how they evolve this mode and what they do to keep updating it, because having like different sections of the track and like seeing how that can change the gameplay, it's going to keep being just really interesting. Here I go on top of this bridge, and then I fall off of it. So be careful. Be careful when you're doing the rails. It's not the most, they don't guide you completely, right? If you're on one, you can very easily fall off. If you're trying to do tricks in different directions for style points, you may very well end up, suicide bombing into the water like I did there. This section of the track is interesting because you can actually drive all the way around, but like, why would you do that ever? Very, very interesting there. A lot of different little pathways you can go. Looks like there's a little like speed boost in the air there. I completely missed it, but I got another big old Pauline. There's a little nice view of her there. And then after that, I got hit by one of the new items in this game, and this is the Kamek item, which, from what I can tell, can do two things. It can spawn enemies in front of you at random, but it can also change you into another character. So for a brief second there, I was changed into the coin coffer, only for a few seconds. I would assume that means I had his stats, but playing in 100cc with all the chaos going on around me, I couldn't really notice a speed difference, to be honest. So I'm not really sure what to make of that item. If you noticed going back when it popped up coin coffer, it had an exclamation point, so I think that's just how you can unlock characters as well. If that happens to you, you will unlock the coin coffer that way. Here we have this nice like autumn maple treeway looking section, and I had another mega mushrooms back there. I was getting a lot of those. Boomerang item. I love the thwomps. When they go down, they turn into little ramps, which is pretty neat. And yeah, I mean, the items in this game are a little weird because it's some stuff from Tour, but then you have the item costume changes that happen, and I don't really know what to make of that, to be honest, because what happens when you have all of the characters unlocked? What does that really do for you if they're not giving you that much of a boost? I think there might be like a very minuscule speed boost, but like that's so weird to have because it's a separate item box, right? It's a whole separate food bag item. It's just a little weird to have those in the track. So I'm just curious to see how that's going to play out, you know, once we have all the costumes and characters unlocked. Like, what really will the purpose of those be? I think this might be the section where I get knocked out of the race. It's going to be close here. Once again, just a really wide highway with a ton of generic NPCs and also cows on the road, which is funny. I'm doing okay, kind of, but then, yeah, I just get, and then there's the Koopa driving, runs right into me. Seemingly, when you get hit by a car, it doesn't actually spin you out. It just kind of slows you down, which is interesting. But yeah, here I am. I'm trying my best, man. I got to be eighth or better. Donkey Kong got hit. I'm like, oh, please, please, please. And then, yeah, I get out of the race. So, Knockout Tour, very fun. Very excited to see where this mode goes and how it evolves over time with post-launch updates. I think this is where I will be spending most of my time with this game. So that is going to do it for my Mario Kart World hands-on impressions. I'm super happy I got to play the game, and I am very excited for launch day, but also that Mario Kart World Direct, which I, of course, will be covering on the channel. If you have any questions about the game, I will try my best to answer them in the comments down below. And of course, as always, subscribe here for more Mario Kart content, Nintendo Switch 2 coverage. I posted a whole separate preview earlier this morning, and I will have more specific game previews coming up, including Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, as well as Donkey Kong Bonanza, and also maybe Dragon Drive. Any Dragon Drive fans out there, subscribe for that type of content. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames, check out my other channel at It's Amiibo, and click on one of these two videos to listen to me ramble even more about Nintendo. Until next time, folks, peace!